Lewis3000 here. A lot of you in the comments have been complaining about the last video I uploaded because I didn't educate enough people about Lewis. So in order to compensate for that, I'm going to be making 2 videos about the history and lore of Lewis. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a crash course on the Lewis plot and lore, and in the next video, I'll explain the history behind the game. So, let's get started. Also, I've been having a lot of copyright strike problems on my channel, so I might not be able to play some clips and scenes from the game. Okay, let's get started. Also, please leave a like and comment and remember to subscribe. Okay, let's start the video.
Before I start this video, I'd just like to state that this is just my opinion, and if you don't agree, please still like the video. I've noticed a lot of people have been hitting the dislike button on my videos just because they don't like the content of the video. If you do not like this video, please click off before watching it. Now on to the video. Remember to hit that like button. I love Lewis as much as the next guy, but even I gotta admit, Lewis on the SNES has the worst lore in the Corniverse because it's not fleshed out like it is in the game Lewis Evolutions on the PlayStation 1. This makes sense, considering the 1996 Lewis was the first game in the series, and the developers were probably not good enough yet at their jobs to make both a good game and a good story. Let me show you how simple the story was. In the first Lewis game on the SNES in 1996, Mother Nature creates a dangerous new animal called the purple fedora ducks, who turn out to be harmful to the ecosystem. Mother Nature, being a pacifist, is unable to kill the birds herself, so she gives the power of flight to a corn named Lewis in order to do it for her. This makes sense. Lewis defeats the 8 fedora duck breeders, and the Douglases are no longer able to reproduce, causing them to slowly die off. You win, and that's it. That's the end of the plot of the first game on the SNES from 1996. The only reward is Mother Nature kisses you. Everyone knows this is way out of character. Excluding the 90s animated series, where Mother Nature and Lewis kiss at an inappropriately constant rate. Unforgivable. I guess the writers were still getting their bearings. That would make sense, so I changed my mind. It is forgivable. The first game has an alright lore, but it could be more complicated in my opinion. You may call blasphemy at what I'm about to say, but as much as I hate him, and even though he's an awful character, this will make sense. Now don't go bananas, but I think Allmondo saved the Lewis storyline. Please don't click off this video, just let me explain myself. I know it's nuts, but this will all make sense with time, so please give me a second to explain. Do not dislike and leave this video. If you just give me the time needed to describe what I'm thinking, I think I'll change your mind. Please give me a chance to speak. I'm gonna talk now. Here it is. Here's what I think. I think Allmondo made the overall Lewis lore better because he added convolution to the story, which is the third step in the hero's journey structure used by every story in existence. Now don't get me wrong, Allmondo is an awful badly written character that isn't likable at all and doesn't serve anything and is hated by all of the Lewis community, including me. But I don't think that makes him bad. Here's my own original storytelling rule that I've coined. Please do not steal it. The more complicated the story, the greater than the story that is not complicated. This makes sense. After the first game, a second game came out, but not a lot of people played it because the game never came out. In Lewis 64 on the Nintendo 64, which we've played semi-exclusively on my YouTube channel, Allmondo is introduced as Lewis's evil cousin. He is Lewis's only known family member. Now hear me out. The theme of having no family is subtly explored in the game because we see Lewis cry throughout the entire game. Spoiler alert. Everyone in Lewis's family turns out to be dead except for Allmondo, but we don't know that until the next game, so I won't talk about it. Allmondo is an inventor archetype and is the creator of electricity. In this game, Allmondo revives the purple fedora ducks back to life using the DNA found in a fossil he luckily finds one day. He gifts the Douglases with the power of technology, making them immensely stronger. Hateable or not, Allmondo is an irreplaceable aspect of the story because he is used to mirror Mother Nature, but evil. This makes sense. This is just my opinion, but I think this is an interesting development to the lore. Even though Allmondo ruined what fundamentally made the Lewis games good, he served the games by making the lore good. Think of it this way. Almonds may make chocolate bars taste worse and be bad, but sometimes they're in them anyways and you eat it. Point is, the lore in this game made sense and was a little better, but still not complicated enough, in my opinion. Let's move on to the 2001 PlayStation game, Lewis Evolutions, the game that saved the Lewis lore in my opinion. Disclaimer, this is just my opinion. If you don't agree, please do not send hateful emails threatening my mother. She is already dead. So is my brother, so you have no family members to threaten. Anyways, the story from that game makes the most sense and goes like this. In Lewis Evolutions on the PlayStation 1, Lewis has a budding romance with Anya the Onion. I believe Lewis even impregnates her. It makes makes sense. It's canon. It's just a theory, but it makes sense. Just hear me out. Hear me out. In this story, Lewis discovers the dead corpses of his brother and sister Eddie and Leela. They were popped in the original war against Douglases that Mother Nature never told Lewis about. There was an entire army of flying corn created to fight the ducks, but they all lost. Lewis was apparently the last corn alive, and the last chance to save the Earth in the original game. Anyone who played Lewis Evolutions remembers getting chills at this part. It makes sense. Lewis starts to cry when he discovers this. Makes sense, wouldn't you? Anyone whose family members are dead should cry. Makes sense to me. When Mother Nature recalls the gruesome murder of all the corn she created, she starts to cry too. That's appropriate and makes sense. I would cry. It's relatable. In this game, Mother Nature's creatures are evolving into humans. That's why it's called Lewis Evolutions on the PlayStation 1. Humans turn out to be worse than the purple fedora ducks because they ruined the Earth. The whole series is a metaphor for genocide. In fact, there's a lot of political commentary in these games if you look too deeply into them. Spoiler alert. Everyone in this game dies, except Lewis, because another storytelling rule is you cannot kill the hero because living is what makes them likable. They do a fantastic job of making Lewis likable in this game. Lewis is given so many interesting little character traits like his gardening hobby. Also, Anya and Lewis get married at the end of the game, which is a nice touch. While we're on the subject, I'd like to quickly debunk the theory that Anya is cheating on Lewis with Allmondo. Anya is allergic to almonds, and Allmondo is an almond, so this is an impossible theory that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now hear me out. This does make sense. There is a subplot in this game where Allmondo kidnaps Anya and allies with the humans by gifting them with electricity. Lewis beats Allmondo, but sadly, spoiler alert, the humans kill Mother Nature. It's a very symbolic moment in the Lewis franchise, not only symbolizing the decaying state of our mistreated planet, but also friendship. I cried at this part because Lewis and Mother Nature were family. Very sad. It's like my own mom dying. Luckily that scene prepared me for all of the emotional turmoil I went through when my real mom died. So yeah, I think this game really perfects the amount of convolution by increasing it from none to a lot. A perfect example of good storytelling that touches you and helps you get over the death of your mother. Not only has this game helped me get over my mom dying, but my brother Ben too. Lewis is my favorite game for these reasons, and I'm completely over my mom dying. My mom being dead isn't even a big deal. When I get sad about her dying, I try to shift my sadness into anger by remembering how much of a bitch she was. Makes sense. Everything makes sense. Makes sense. I'm over the death of my mom, and I don't think I'll ever...
Thanks for watching. Tune in next week where I'll be explaining the history of Lewis games.